Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to today's session. I'm delighted to have you here. Today, we will be discussing data integrity review in pharmaceutical documents. This is a critical topic in our industry, ensuring that our data remains accurate, reliable, and compliant. Over the course of this presentation, we'll explore the key principles, best practices, and regulatory considerations involved in maintaining data integrity in pharmaceutical documentation. So, let's get started and dive into the essentials of this important subject. Welcome to our discussion on data integrity. Today, I want to highlight what data integrity really means. It's about ensuring that data remains complete, consistent, accurate, and reliable throughout its entire life cycle. In the pharmaceutical industry, this is absolutely critical because it directly impacts product quality and patient safety. Plus, maintaining robust data integrity is essential for compliance with global regulatory standards. Regulatory authorities expect pharmaceutical companies to have strong systems and controls in place. These systems should prevent any unauthorized manipulation, loss, or falsification of data. Essentially, they want to see that the data is trustworthy from start to finish. Now, why is data integrity so important? First, it ensures the reliability of our records. Without reliable data, making sound decisions about batch releases becomes impossible. It also helps us stay compliant with regulations, avoiding penalties or legal issues. Most importantly, good data integrity protects patient safety and preserves the quality of our products. Additionally, maintaining high data integrity levels makes us more prepared for inspections. It shows that we take quality and compliance seriously at every step. So, as we move through this presentation, keep in mind how these principles are foundational to our overall goal, delivering safe, effective, and compliant pharmaceutical products. Now, let's look at some additional plus requirements that are essential for maintaining data integrity. These are complete, meaning every aspect of data must be covered. Consistent, so data should be reliable across different systems and times. Enduring, ensuring data remains intact and accessible over its entire life cycle. And available, meaning data must be accessible when needed. All of these help us ensure that pharmaceutical data is trustworthy from start to finish. The objective here is clear. We want to make sure that all pharmaceutical data remains reliable and traceable throughout its entire record lifecycle. This is fundamental to compliance, quality, and patient safety. Now, moving on to the fundamentals of data integrity, we focus on the ALCOA plus principles. These principles provide a solid foundation for maintaining data integrity. First, attributable. Any data recorded should clearly indicate who recorded it and when. This helps maintain accountability. Next, legible. Data must be clear and easy to read, so there's no ambiguity about what was recorded. Contemporaneous. Records should be made at the time the activity occurs, not later, to ensure accuracy and timeliness. Original. This refers to the initial record of the data, not a copy or a later version, preserving its authenticity. And finally, accurate. Data must be correct and a true reflection of the activity or result. Together, these ALCOA principles serve as a guide to ensure our data remains trustworthy, compliant, and ultimately supports high-quality pharmaceutical practices. Now, let's take a closer look at the scope of the data integrity review. First, it's important to understand which departments are involved. This includes quality control, which handles product testing, quality assurance, responsible for overseeing compliance, production, where the manufacturing actually happens, warehouse, managing storage, engineering, maintaining equipment, and microbiology, ensuring the microbial quality of products. All of these departments play a vital role in maintaining data integrity. Moving on, we need to identify the documents subject to review. These are primarily pharmaceutical documents, and they include a variety of records. For example, batch manufacturing records or BMRs, which document the manufacturing process for each batch. Then, we have batch packaging records or BPRs, which track the packaging of each batch. Laboratory notebooks are also crucial. They contain raw data from testing and experiments. Analytical worksheets, chromatograms, spectra, and stability study records all contribute to verifying product quality over time. Equipment logbooks, calibration, and maintenance records help ensure that equipment functions correctly and consistently. Electronic data and audit trails are increasingly important, especially with digital systems, as they provide a transparent history of data modifications. Lastly, standard operating procedures, or SOPs, along with validation documents, serve as the foundation for consistent and compliant operations. In summary, this scope covers a comprehensive set of documents and data sources across multiple departments, all essential for ensuring data integrity and supporting our quality commitments. Let's take a closer look at the data lifecycle management, which is a critical aspect of our overall data strategy. The data lifecycle consists of several key stages that ensure data is handled efficiently and securely throughout its life. First, we have data generation, where data is created or collected, often at the point of business activity or through various sources. Next is data processing, where that raw data is refined, organized, and prepared for analysis or use. After processing, data enters the data review stage, which involves validating and ensuring data quality, accuracy, and relevance. Once reviewed, data moves to data reporting, where insights are generated and shared with stakeholders to support decision-making. Following reporting, data is stored and archived, which means securely saving data for future reference or compliance needs. When data is no longer needed for active use, it can be retrieved or retained based on policies that dictate how long it should be kept. Finally, data destruction occurs as per retention policies, ensuring that data is securely and properly disposed of when it's no longer required. Throughout all these stages, the key requirement remains the same. Data must stay secure, traceable, and easily retrievable at every point in its life cycle. This ensures not only compliance with regulations, but also maintains the trustworthiness and integrity of our data management processes. By understanding and managing these stages effectively, we support the overall theme of responsible data stewardship and operational excellence. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the critical controls that help us ensure quality and compliance. First, having approved SOPs, or standard operating procedures, is essential. They serve as the backbone for consistent and reliable processes across our operations. Next, authorized access is crucial. Only the right people should have access to sensitive data and documents to maintain security and integrity. Version control is another key point. It helps us track document updates and prevents confusion over which version is current. Controlled forms and templates also play an important role. They standardize data collection and reporting, reducing errors and ensuring consistency. Moving on, the data integrity review process is a systematic approach to verify that all data is accurate, complete, and trustworthy. Within this process, we follow several typical review steps. First, we verify the completeness of documents, making sure everything is in place. Then, we review entries and signatures to confirm that all data has been accurately recorded and properly authorized. Cross-checking calculations and results is vital to catch any discrepancies or errors before they propagate further. We also perform an audit trail assessment, which involves examining the record of changes to understand how data has been modified over time. Verification of corrections and changes ensures that any amendments are properly documented and justified. Reviewing deviations and investigations helps us understand anomalies and address potential issues proactively. Finally, all these steps culminate in QA approval and archiving, ensuring that only validated, approved data is stored securely for future reference. By rigorously applying these controls, we strengthen our overall quality system and ensure our data remains reliable and compliant. Now, let's talk about electronic data and audit trail review. This is a crucial part of our overall compliance and data integrity strategy. When we perform an audit trail review, we're essentially tracking key activities within our electronic systems. For example, we look at user login and logout activity to understand who accessed the system and when. We also review data modifications to see what changes were made, ensuring they are authorized and properly documented. Deleted records are another critical point. We need to verify when and why data has been removed. Additionally, reprocessing or reintegration activities are monitored to confirm that any reentries are legitimate. Date and time verification is essential to maintain accurate records, and we also watch for any unauthorized access attempts, which could indicate security issues or potential breaches. Now, moving on to regulatory expectations. These are not just best practices, but requirements we must meet. Audit trails must be enabled in our systems and regularly reviewed to ensure ongoing compliance. Our electronic systems need to be validated, meaning they've been tested and verified to function correctly and securely. And of course, the use of unique user IDs and passwords is mandatory to ensure accountability and traceability. All of these elements connect back to our core goal, maintaining data integrity, security, and compliance. By thoroughly reviewing audit trails and adhering to these regulatory expectations, we can confidently demonstrate that our data handling processes are robust and trustworthy. When it comes to good documentation practices, or GDP, there are some essential requirements we need to follow to ensure our records are accurate and reliable. First, always use indelible ink. This helps prevent any tampering or fading over time. Next, record data contemporaneously, meaning at the very moment the information is collected, so everything stays fresh and accurate. It's also crucial to avoid leaving blank spaces or overwriting entries, as that can raise questions about data integrity. If a mistake happens, make a single-line correction, explain the reason clearly, and sign and date it. This maintains transparency. Lastly, keep your records legible and traceable so that anyone reviewing them can follow the audit trail without confusion. Now, let's talk about practices that are unacceptable. Backdating entries is a big no-no because it can misrepresent the timeline of events. Using correction fluid or whiteout to fix mistakes can obscure the original data and compromise trust. Unofficial worksheets or documents that aren't properly authorized should never be used, as they can lead to inconsistencies. And finally, transcribing data without verifying it introduces errors that can have serious consequences down the line. All of these points tie back to our core goal, maintaining data integrity and ensuring that our documentation supports quality and compliance throughout the process. Now, let's look at some of the key impacts that can arise from these risks. Regulatory observations are a major concern because they can lead to formal inspections and potential sanctions. Product recalls are another serious consequence, often resulting from data integrity issues or uncontrolled processes. Warning letters from authorities serve as a clear signal that compliance standards are not being met. Beyond regulatory actions, there's also the loss of business reputation, which can have long-term effects on trust and market position. On the technical side, potential data integrity issues are particularly concerning because they undermine the foundation of reliable, quality data. Moving to the risks we frequently observe, shared user accounts and passwords pose a risk because they make accountability difficult. Missing raw data or uncontrolled worksheets can compromise the integrity of the entire dataset. Unexplained repeat testing can create suspicion around results, and unauthorized changes to records threaten data authenticity. Disabled audit trails make it impossible to track what changes have occurred, and incomplete investigations leave issues unresolved, further eroding trust. All these points highlight how critical it is to maintain strict controls and thorough investigations, because any lapse can have significant regulatory, operational, and reputational impacts. Now, let's talk about handling data integrity deviations. When we identify a deviation, the first step is investigation and CAPA, corrective and preventive actions. It's crucial to immediately identify and report any issues as soon as they arise, so we can address them promptly. Next, conducting a thorough root cause analysis helps us understand why the deviation happened in the first place. This step is essential for preventing recurrence. We also need to assess how this deviation impacts product quality, ensuring that we maintain our standards and compliance. Documenting all findings carefully is vital, as it provides a clear record of what was discovered and how it was managed. Finally, implementing CAPA ensures that corrective actions are put into place and monitored for effectiveness. Now, regarding CAPA examples, these can include revising standard operating procedures, enhancing system access controls, retraining personnel, or increasing QA oversight. Each of these actions targets specific root causes and helps us reinforce our control systems. These steps are integral to our overall strategy of maintaining data integrity and ensuring product quality. They highlight the importance of a proactive and systematic approach to deviations, which ultimately supports our commitment to compliance and continuous improvement. Now, let's take a look at the roles and responsibilities involved in ensuring data integrity and quality. First, we have the analysts and operators. Their main job is to record accurate and complete data. This is the foundation of everything we do. It's essential they follow approved procedures to maintain consistency and reliability. And of course, if they notice any discrepancies, they need to report them immediately so they can be addressed without delay. Moving on, we have the reviewers and supervisors. Their role is to verify compliance and accuracy. They review calculations and audit trails to ensure everything is correct and consistent. They also check that records are complete, which is critical for maintaining trust in the data. Finally, we have the quality assurance team. They hold the final say on approval and oversee the entire process. They conduct periodic audits to catch any issues early and make sure all activities comply with regulatory standards. Connecting all these roles together, it's clear that everyone plays a vital part in maintaining the integrity and quality of our data, from initial recording to final approval. This teamwork is what keeps our processes robust and compliant with industry standards. Now, let's talk about continuous monitoring and why it's such a vital part of maintaining quality and compliance. First, trending of deviations helps us identify patterns or recurring issues so we can address root causes proactively. Next, conducting CAPA effectiveness reviews ensures that our corrective and preventive actions are truly working and making a difference. Periodic risk assessments are also key. They help us stay ahead of potential issues before they escalate. Moving on, strengthening our data integrity systems is essential to ensure that the information we rely on is accurate and trustworthy. To support this, I recommend implementing some best practices. For example, establishing strong SOPs and controls creates a solid foundation for consistent operations. Validating computerized systems ensures they function correctly and reliably. Regular audit trail reviews help us monitor changes and detect any suspicious activity. Training personnel regularly is crucial because well-trained staff are our first line of defense against errors. Limiting system access based on roles adds an extra layer of security, ensuring only authorized individuals can make significant changes. Conducting internal audits and self-inspections keeps us honest and helps us identify gaps early. Lastly, promoting a quality culture and upholding ethical practices reinforce the importance of integrity across all levels of our organization. When we integrate these practices, we reinforce our overall commitment to quality, compliance, and continuous improvement. Now, let's talk about the consequences of noncompliance. When a company fails to meet regulatory standards, the potential actions by authorities can be quite serious. For example, the FDA might issue warning letters, which serve as formal notices that certain violations need to be addressed. There can also be import alerts, which prevent products from entering the market until issues are resolved. In addition, there are GMP deficiencies, meaning good manufacturing practice violations, that can lead to further scrutiny. If these issues are severe enough, products might be seized or recalled to protect public health. In extreme cases, the manufacturing license itself could be suspended, halting production entirely. Beyond regulatory actions, the business impact can be significant. Financial losses are a common consequence, as recalls and legal penalties can be costly. Plus, there's the risk of losing customer confidence, which can be difficult to rebuild. Product approvals might be delayed, slowing down market entry for new innovations. And perhaps most damaging of all is the reputational harm. Once trust is broken, it can take years to restore. Ultimately, non-compliance doesn't just mean regulatory trouble. It can threaten the very viability of the business. That's why adhering to standards is so crucial, not just for legal reasons, but for maintaining your company's integrity and success in the market. Let's wrap up with some key takeaways. First, data integrity is absolutely a fundamental GMP requirement. It's the backbone of trustworthy manufacturing and quality assurance. Without it, everything else can fall apart. Next, reliable documentation plays a crucial role in supporting product quality, and most importantly, patient safety. Accurate records ensure we can trace, verify, and validate each step of our processes. Effective review systems are also vital. They help us catch issues early and minimize compliance risks. Regular audits and reviews keep us aligned with regulatory expectations and best practices. Strong governance and quality assurance oversight are essential components too. They provide the oversight and accountability needed to maintain high standards across the board. Finally, continuous training and monitoring help us foster a culture of compliance. When everyone stays informed and vigilant, we're better equipped to uphold the integrity and safety of our products every day. All these elements together create a robust framework that supports not just compliance, but excellence in our manufacturing processes. For further support, please don't hesitate to contact us. We're here to help you with any questions or additional information you might need after this presentation. Remember, our goal is to ensure you feel confident and well-informed moving forward. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. We truly appreciate your engagement and look forward to supporting your success.